Okay, guys, hey. While I have a moment, I wanted to talk a little bit further about the Black Femicide comments and things that I was making. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, if not, then check it out. There was a vlogger who did a really good job of presentation regarding Black Femicide, but the majority of her things were about domestic violence. And I'd like just to argue that domestic violence is a symptom of the real problem. Black males are feeling, somewhat emasculated, somewhat frustrated, and whenever there's a problem with them, irregardless of if you're in a relationship with one, as many women are not, you're still going to experience that downfall, of whatever happens to them. So if they're pissed off at the world, if you're not in a relationship, for instance, I'm not in a relationship, it will in some way extend onto you. Whether it be these women who are always heralding black men, regardless of the fact that they, sometimes do wrong. All of these women who are always upholding men, and these men don't do the same for them. I absolutely agree that no woman should be subjected to listening to a bunch of BS of all this hype around people who apparently are supposed to do no wrong, but who are doing a whole lot of wrong. As I said, there's a femicide, a murdering of black women, and it's an intersectional issue, but you have to understand, both black and indigenous women are the most in danger in this country, and nobody cares. And so for you to say, well, black men this, black men that, that's great. No one has anything against black men. But what I'm concerned about is the objectification of black women, right? We're not here to be as objects, and I can kind of feel it, even being a single mother, living alone at my age, where it's just so uncomfortable. And I can tell you that in all my years, I would say since I was a kid in the 80s maybe, I've never seen such a problem with black men and mental health. I haven't. And I'm not exaggerating, where I would feel uncomfortable living alone when I've lived alone since I was, 18, 19 years old. So you have to understand, a lot of it is entitlement, where they feel like they're entitled to get this type of treatment because they're black men and all the things that happened to them in the past. But you have to understand, history left out black women for the most part and all the things that happened to them because we didn't have a voice for a very long time. There was white feminism that came along, but it took a very long time for black feminists to even get any type of voice whatsoever. So now we're talking about the year 2022 coming up, and they're still killing black women at such a rapid rate that it's ridiculous. People keep ignoring it. And as far as, it being just domestic violence, as I said, domestic violence is a symptom, right? The problem is they cannot handle the stress and the oppression upon them in one way or the other. Either they're totally to a point where they have all this entitlement and they don't know what to do. We can't even use income as a factor anymore. Poverty and oppression were the first things that sociologists went to. However, we can't use that as an excuse alone anymore. I mean, we're looking at people who are super entitled, who've had nothing but money all of their lives, who are just, and I hate to use the word spoiled, but that's the truth, who are just out of control, who beat women, who objectify women. These religious people, they're no exception. They're that couple that just died. Everyone was talking about, they were a religious couple who moved to Georgia, and all they do is spout religious verses and so forth, and put up a front, and it was a murder-suicide situation. You can't tell by the way that people act. You most certainly can't tell by patriarchy. If you think being married, and having wealth is going to be something that's going to be a moniker of you telling whether or not people are, murderers or rapists, or white beaters, then you're sadly confused. And I think that's where we are in the black community now. We actually have these little boys, and I call them little boys because of my age, I'm 47, but we have these young men who are out here pretending to, I don't even know what the word is, it's delusional, to be involved with women they're not involved with because they're so lonely, and they try to have this ego, and I just can't explain it, where they can not be unattractive, they can not be, it's the scared of being rejection reply, but then with the egoist attitude applied. You know what I mean? So it's amazing to me how you can be in such denial all your lives. I'm not saying that every woman is great looking or every woman is the smartest. What I'm saying, if a woman doesn't want to be with you, she doesn't want to be with you. Why pretend to be in a relationship with someone? I think that's the most disturbing. If everyone fantasizes to a certain degree, it's very healthy, especially when you're starting a romantic relationship or you want to start a romantic relationship. But if that other party rejects you in some way, it's unhealthy, especially if there's the stalking type situation where I'm seeing happen so often, where I've gone through, when men they just pretend they don't see what they don't want to see. They pretend, literally, like children. Pretend they know you, pretend they can follow you, pretend that they're doing things for you in a relationship, they're buying things for you. They purchase your car, they purchase your clothes, and you're out there working 2 jobs. And as black women, we have to take the L. That's what they think anyway. Like, oh, okay, well, that'll be disrespectful if I say something about this person. Sometimes we don't even know these men. I'm talking about a severe problem with mental health that's escalating out of control. And I want to see some public health studies to investigate these things so that we can get it taken care of. I really do. So anyway, I got to go, guys. But I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. And thanks for listening. Bye.